Welcome back to another video here on the second channel. We have some more Hytale news, building behaviors, and introduction to building NPC behaviors. NPC being non-player character, that means the creatures and critters that inhabit the world, mobs essentially. And this article is an introduction to the behavioral scripting of these creatures, and if you've been following the development of this game, it'll be no surprise to hear that it is customizable and open to modding. It also mentions that what you see in this article is a work in progress and subject to change. The first thing that we are treated to here is something we've seen before. It's just an animation of one of the creatures. You can see the timeline with the keyframes, and that's just telling all the bits in the animation where to move from. So this article has quite a lot of text, and we're going to be glossing over parts of it. If you want to read it yourself, there'll be a link to it in the description box down below. I actually really enjoyed this one, but I feel like you can summarize up a lot of the text quite simply, and it's not a deep dive into what's going to be happening here, but it does tell us some important stuff, like that the code that's going to be used is JSON code, which they use in Minecraft, loot tables, for example. If you're familiar with that, you'll be familiar with this, and that a lot of the code is going to be modular, which I believe means to make it fractured so that you separate parts of the code and multiple things can refer to it, rather than have all the code lumped into one place. So if we look at this image, for example, the beacon is calling other Turuks. So within a range of 30, the beacon effect will call in other Turuks or alert them, or basically send a signal of some sort to them. So I believe by this being modular, it means where we have type beacon, beacon will be a bit of code somewhere else, better explaining what exactly is going on there. And then I believe it causes all of those Turuks to become alerted and play the animation of alerted as well. But hey, that's me just trying to read into this code. Like, I'm not an ace at this stuff at all or anything. So yeah, these scripts will basically determine how creatures interact with the world, what their responses are to certain situations, and how they react to perhaps taking damage, etc, etc. Anyway, again, there's a lot of text that we're kind of glossing over here because it can be easily summarized. And we have a Turok here that's being made alert by the presence of a bear. If I pause the video for a second, you can see here that it has something called sensor, and then it goes for type mob in a range of 10, and you include the group bear. Bear could mean just the one mob, or possibly a list of bears if there's different types, I'm not sure. And then it tells you to watch or to do the alerted animation. Not entirely sure actually quite what motion is, but you can see it puts its fist in the air as a response to the bear being nearby. And this is all determined by the code that is open for players to modify and change to their liking, which is really cool. So scrolling down, you can see over here we've got this really awesome video of a Turok finding some meat, and this is because inside of its code it has this specific reaction to it. So you can see some little particle effects above its head of exclamation marks. It runs over and it grabs the meat, and the interaction just looks really, really cool, and it starts eating it straight away. So scrolling down, there's also this right here. It mentions that NPCs are able to switch their weapons, but then it gives you a slightly different demonstration of it doing something a little bit more complex. When it starts to rain, the Turok then gets up, and as a response to the rain, it goes and sits by the fire, because before it was taking a nap, according to the text. And I love this. This is just a really awesome detail, a little thing for them to do in the world to give them some personality. Scrolling further down, we've got an image of the Quebecs, and it says that basically they don't eat food or drink. They are sort of like fruit creatures, and what they do is they sunbathe to get nutrients from the sun, and that is cute and adorable. And then we have goblins at the very bottom that are fond of throwing bombs at a problem, as it says right here. So if they encounter a situation they're not comfortable with, they're going to chuck bombs that blow up blocks, and just sounds fantastic. Also, that goblin looks really awesome. Oh, this game, I'm getting very excited for it. It looks like it can potentially be pretty fantastic, right? Link to the article is in the description box down below if you want to read the text, and that's it from me this one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.